Greetings. In the last video, we were discussing, this evil lie that Jesus was a Jew from the Judah tribe. And we had two genealogies mentioned in the book of Matthew and Luke. And we said that, the book of law says a bastard is not allowed to enter into the assembly of God, not even to the 10th generation. So now, the Jews want to put Jesus in a genealogy full with bastards and porn and adultery, so that they will say, here, listen, how do you believe in this man to be the Christ of the Lord or the Messiah? He comes from porn and adultery. Therefore, they had to have a genealogy full with bastards to say Jesus is not allowed in the assembly. All right, let's start with, in the genealogy, there is a man named Judah. And from him are the Jews, and David, and the descendants of David. According to the book of Genesis, chapter 38, verse 15 through 17, it mentioned the story of how Judah committed adultery with his the wife of his deceased son, his daughter-in-law. Incest. And he did not marry her. He committed adultery with her. And the result of this adultery, that she brought him a child. And this child in the matter of fact, she brought him two children from this adultery, and one of them is Perez and the other is Zerah. Perez is mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus Christ in both Matthew and Luke, after Judah. Perez came from adultery. He's one of the grandfathers of Jesus according to the genealogy. Therefore, he's a bastard and not allowed in the assembly because he came from adultery. So, we have Judah the adulterer, this evil man who committed this sin, and his son Perez are in Jesus' genealogy. The genealogy full with bastards. The book of Ruth, chapter 3, describes the adultery that took place between Boaz and a woman named Ruth. And from this adultery, they brought a child named Obed. Now this Boaz is mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus Christ in both Matthew and Luke. In both, this adulterer is mentioned, and his son Obed is mentioned in both genealogies. So this is one of the grandfathers of Jesus Christ, a bastard. Then Jesus is coming from bastard genealogy. So he's a bastard according to this, and not allowed in the assembly. Now, 2 Samuel speaks about chapter 11, verses 3 through 7, describe how David, now everybody knows David, and this is mentioned in both books. David is mentioned in the genealogy, but not his sons, not all his sons. Okay, in Matthew it's Solomon, in Luke it's anyway. So David committed adultery with a woman called Bathsheba, and he killed her husband, and then he married her. But he committed adultery, and from this adultery came what? Solomon. Why Solomon? Imagine. And those two are mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus in the book of Matthew. David and Solomon. Now in the book of Luke, Nathan. Now the question is, how can one man like Jesus come in one genealogy from Solomon and the other genealogy from Nathan? You need a brain to think first. And we wonder if they have any. Maybe this skull of theirs is so empty. There is no gland inside like mine with a brain that I can use. So therefore, this Solomon from adultery, according to them, not me, is one of the grandfathers or the fathers of Jesus Christ from adultery. And Jesus is not allowed in the assembly. It's very clear in the book of law. They call it the book of law, right? Anyone coming from illegal marriage, no marriage, adultery, is not allowed in the assembly. All right? So, after that, imagine David, he killed the man, the poor man, after committing adultery with his wife. Their book is so filthy about the men of the Lord, full with evil, satanic lies, accusing David of being a murderer, adulterer, and much more. But this is not the time to talk about it. All right. Now, we have two genealogies, as I mentioned, and both of them, if you look in Matthew chapter 1 and Luke in chapter 3, starting with 23 through 38, both genealogies end at Joseph the carpenter. Joseph the carpenter in Matthew and in Luke. Even if the genealogy is different, one through Solomon, one through Nathan. So Joseph the carpenter now have two different genealogies. I don't know how this could happen miraculously. But both are to Joseph the carpenter. It's mentioned Joseph. It doesn't say Mary. It doesn't say Jesus. And if you look through all this, you will not find the name of Jesus mentioned. No, it's a lie. This is the genealogy for the descendants of David. Jesus said he is not the son of David. How they say that he is the Messiah is the son of David. The genealogy, of Jesus from David does not have Jesus in it. Jesus was born from a virgin. He doesn't have a father. If he had a father, then we'll trace back this father genealogy. If he had Joseph, then yes, he is from the Judah tribe. But this will put you in a miserable situation of accusing Mary, Holy Mary, of committing adultery. She was living with Joseph before marriage for a lengthy period of time, and she traveled from Nazareth to Bethlehem with Joseph alone on the way, and they stayed at the stable where they gave birth to a child in a stable, like any animal, with a rotten smell of the bullshit. You are so miserable in believing in such nonsense and evil stuff. And every Christmas you celebrate this story. In some streets, you make this story live. And the three fire worshippers, you call them wise men, they come to visit and give presents and gifts. You are so sad. You are miserable. You rotten Zionists are the worst evil against the man Jesus. You miserable Baptist, you are rotten and evil, Antichrist, the worst of the worst. Because all what we have just said, the genealogy is for God now, because Jesus is God in the Baptist eyes. Stupid, evil eyes, blind eyes. So, God comes from a genealogy of bastards and porn and adultery. Baptist God. Compulsive liar. Not allowed. Their God is not allowed in the assembly of God. Now you figure that out. How God is not allowed in his assembly? Well, this is the law that he gave to the Jew according to what they say. Well, even God is a liar. Well, that's because, the Baptists want to make a man like Jesus God for worship. Congratulations. Thank you for watching.